Alrighty, folks, we're now 3-0 in our last 3 chairman plays on my premium page, 7-1 in our last 8 in that same package. We had Tulane in college basketball on Sunday, and they took care of UAB by 17 points. It's also going to put us at 73% in our last 15 chairman plays in that same membership. And the good news is I've got another chairman play going off here today for Monday. That play's been already posted and available for access. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my free pick video here today for Monday, March 10th, 2025. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you had a great weekend, and we're looking to get a new week started off good here. Of course, if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. And folks, we did cash in on 5 total winning tickets on my premium page yesterday. Certainly not our best day. Did not make a ton of money there. But, we had 5 winners. Also had 5 losers. So, like I said, not my best day. I'm not overly proud of my body of work Sunday. Certainly got to do a better job. Don't feel great about it. But once again, we did have Tulane in college basketball, Jazz +7 in the NBA, Pistons money line in the NBA as well, Dallas Stars in the NHL, and we also hit on a 2-team parlay. And the only way you could have accessed all those winners is to join my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club membership. Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as always, if you don't need access to all of those plays, but maybe you could use like one a day, my daily best play costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days worth of access. Now, folks, I'm 2-0 my last 2 Gold Club plays in that package alone, 3-0 my last 3 chairman plays, 13-4 in my last 17 NHL tier package picks, 70% my last 11 board member tier package plays, 60% my last 10 college basketball tier package picks, 63% my last 24 NBA tier package plays, 6-3 in my last 9 crowd pleaser teasers, 68% my last 32 underdog tier package plays, 69% my last 13 extra daily picks. And finally, folks, we got the W in 3 out of our last 4 daily best plays. Folks, we got plays going off in all of those packages here today, and they're all included with the Gold Club membership. Of course, if you're skeptical about buying a package, signing up for a package, I certainly don't blame you. This is a skeezy racket. I do have plenty of free content on my premium page as well. Don't have to buy anything to access it. And part of my free content is actually my current overall win. Man, I'm so excited, can't really even talk right now. You can access my overall win-loss record right now for free. It's part of the free content. You can access that right now in the post section. Don't have to buy anything to see my record. And folks, I currently have over 2,150 members who are signed up and active on my premium page right now. With that, folks, we are going to jump into some free content. We're actually going to start off in that Lakers-Nets game. That'll be a 7:30 Eastern tip-off. The Lakers are -5.5. Total's 216. Lakers are 40-22 overall in the year. Winning record against the point spread. Brooklyn, 21 games under 500 themselves. Just 9-21 straight up at home. And listen, even though LeBron's out with that groin injury, at least for a couple of weeks, that's why you got a guy like Luka who can, take over a game and get you a bunch of buckets. This is a guy who can easily, if you're committed to feeding him the rock, he's going to get you 40 a night, sometimes, maybe even 50. Luka can certainly take over a game, certainly when you give him volume too. If he shoots a lot of shots, he can certainly make you pay. Doncic is averaging over 24.5 points a night with the Lakers, 8 rebounds, 7 assists a game with his new team. And Austin Reeves, he's scoring over 18.5 points a game himself, 86% from the foul line. Now, when it comes to defensive play, the Lakers really don't get into a ton of foul trouble. They're also fourth in guarding the three ball. And the Nets on the other side, well, they've been little threat shooting the long ball themselves. They're in the bottom 5 in three-point percentage, dead last in field goals made. Brooklyn took the loss in they actually took the loss in their last 7 straight, and they averaged only 107 points a game during that skid. Now, Nets games went 60% to the under in their last 10. Lakers 9-1 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I like the LeBron-less Lakers -5.5, under 216. Who knows? Maybe Bronny will step up. All right, next game, Wizards, Raptors, 7:30 p.m. East. Toronto's -6.5, totals 231. And even though the Raptors have struggled this year for the most part, they've done a considerably nice job covering the number. Toronto's actually 38-26 against the point spread, covers in 5 out of their last 8. Meanwhile, Washington's just 13-49 this year, 6-23 on the road. The Wizards give up more points a game than any other team besides one. And no real surprise here, the Raptors are currently in the bottom 5 in field goals allowed per game. And they're taking on a Raptors team who, once again, covered the number in 5 out of their last 8. Covers against the likes of the Magic, Celtics, and Suns. RJ Barrett averages over 21.5 points per contest, 6.5 boards, 5.5 assists. And Scotty Barnes, he's getting just about 20 points a game himself, over 7.5 rebounds, 6 assists for Barnes. Raptor games went 60% to the over in their last 10. Washington saw overs recently with Utah, Portland, and this very Toronto team. That head-to-head game saw 235 total points. Give me Toronto -6.5, over 231. All right, next game, Jazz, Celtics, 7:30 Eastern tip. Boston's -17, totals 227. The Celtics are 46-18 on the year, 22-11 in the Garden. Meanwhile, Utah with nearly 50, actually, do they have 50 losses yet? I wrote up the notes for this game as that Jazz-Sixers game was going on. But listen, if they don't have 50, it's nearly 50 losses on the year. Only a handful of wins on the road this season. The Jazz are currently in the bottom 3 in points allowed, dead last in defensive turnovers, and they're facing a Boston club who's definitely careful with the basketball. They don't make a whole lot of mistakes. They actually commit fewer turnovers a game on offense than any other team besides one. When it comes to shooting the long ball, the Celtics make more three-pointers a game than any other organization. Jason Tatum averages 27 points per contest, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And Peyton Pritchard, he's drilling 42% of his long balls, 14 points a game off the bench. Celtics saw overs in 3 out of their last 5. Utah saw a handful of overs in their last 10 themselves. Give me Boston -17, over 227. Next matchup, Sixers-Hawks, 7:30 Eastern tip. Atlanta's -8.5, totals 230. Atlanta covered in 4 out of their last 7. Covers against the likes of the Pacers, Grizzlies, and Heat. The Hawks are still a top 5 point producing team despite their downfalls. 3rd in the league in free throws made. Meanwhile, the Sixers on the other side, they took the loss in 8 out of their last 10. When it comes to defensive play, well, Philly's currently dead last in defensive field goal percentage. Now, Philly saw overs recently with Boston, Minnesota, and Golden State. Atlanta games went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. I like Atlanta -8.5, over 230. Next contest, Hornets Heat, 7:30 East. Miami's -10, totals 216. Now, the Heat's currently 5 games under 500, losing record against the point spread. Meanwhile, Charlotte's 34-29 against the number themselves, covers recently against Brooklyn, Cleveland, and Dallas. Amazing to think a team this bad actually has a winning record against the number. They covered 34 times this year. And listen, as bad as the Hornets have been, they do a nice job of rebounding on offense. They're currently 6th in offensive boards per game. Now, when it comes to defensive play, they're certainly going to contest your shots. Charlotte's actually 3rd in the league in defensive three-point percentage. And they're taking on a Miami squad who really doesn't get to the rack a whole lot. They're 25th in field goals made, bottom 10 in scoring. Now, Miami did see their last 4 straight stay under the total. Charlotte games went 6-2 to the under in their last 8. I like the Hornets plus 10, under 216. All right, next contest, moving into that 8 o'clock slate. Pacers, Bulls, 8 o'clock East. Indiana's -4, totals 242.5. The Pacers are 8 games over 500. Chicago just 25-38. And even worse, the Bulls are just 11-22 in the United Center, giving up more points a game than any other team in the league. And no real surprise here, folks. Chicago gives up more field goals per contest than any other team as well. They're taking on an Indy squad who loves to get to the cup, has no problems getting the basket. They're 3rd in offensive field goal percentage, top 10 point producing team. Pascal Siakam averages over 20.5 points a night, 40% from three-land. And Miles Turner scoring 15.5 points a game himself, 40% from downtown as well. Indy saw overs recently versus Miami, LA Clippers, and Washington. Meanwhile, Chicago games went 60% to the over in their last 10. I like the Pacers -4, over 242.5. All right, next contest, Suns, Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Eastern tip. Memphis is -5, totals 244. The Grizzlies are 15 games over 500, 22-10 in the FedEx Forum. Meanwhile, Phoenix, they're 4 games under 500, just 12-21 on the road. Of course, more recently, the Suns dropped 5 out of their last 7. They've been pretty lax on defense this year. The Suns are 24th in points allowed, second to last in defensive turnovers. They're facing a Memphis squad who explodes on offense. They're the highest point-producing team in the Western Conference, 2nd in the entire league in field goals per game. John Moran averages 21 points a night, 4 rebounds, 7 assists for Ja. And Desmond Bane averages over 18.5 points a game himself, 6 boards, 5.5 assists. Grizzly games went 4-3 to the over in their last 7. Suns 6-1 to the over in their last 7 themselves. I like Memphis -5, over 244. All right, next matchup, little rematch here. Nuggets Thunder, 8 o'clock East. OKC's 8.5, totals 240. Now, OKC saw unders in their last 3 straight. 1st in the league in field goals allowed. When I say 1st in the league in field goals allowed, that's fewest field goals allowed. Meanwhile, Denver games on the other side went 6-2 to the under in their last 8. They're 4th in the league in defensive boards. I like the under 240. All right, next game, Magic Rockets, 8 o'clock East. Houston's -4, totals 214. The Rockets are 14 games over 500, 21-10 in the Toyota Center. Orlando, 5 games under 500 themselves, 12-19 on the road. Of course, more recently, the Magic dropped 5 out of their last 6. They're dead last in points per game. Orlando's averaging a league worst 104 points per contest. And no real surprise, Orlando's the worst 3-point shooting team in the game. They're taking on a Houston squad who's been tough to score points against. Houston's 6th in points allowed, 2nd in 3 balls given up. The Rockets are currently limiting opposing shooters to just a dozen 3-pointers a game. Now, Houston contests went 5-2 to the under in their last 7. Orlando 4-3 to the under in their last 7 themselves. I like the Rockets -4, under 214. All right, next ball game, Mavericks Spurs, 8:30 p.m. East. San Antonio's -6, totals 225.5. Now, Spurs games went 60% to the under in their last 10. Unders against the likes of Houston, New Orleans, and Detroit. San Antonio is actually 3rd in free throws allowed per game, doing a great job not sending people to the stripe. Meanwhile, Dallas Contest on the other side went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. They're fourth in the NBA in blocks per game. I like the under 225.5. Next matchup, Blazers, Warriors, 10 o'clock East. Golden State's -12, totals 231. The Warriors are 8 games over 500, winning record at home. Meanwhile, Portland's 8 games under 500, 12-22 on the road. The Blazers are currently 24th in scoring on offense, and they actually foul too much on defense. They're 25th in free throws allowed per game. Meanwhile, Golden State splashing over 15 3 balls a night themselves, winners of 9 out of their last 10. When it comes to defensive play, the Warriors are in the top 10 in fewest points allowed. I like Golden State -12. And with that, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Knicks-Kings matchup, 10:30 p.m. East. New York's -1, totals 223.5. The Knicks are 40-23 on the year, but they obviously have a banged-up Jalen Brunson at the moment. I was watching that game over the weekend. That was an ugly injury to his ankle that he endured in overtime, of all things. It's a shame that the game went to extra frames. I actually sent out a play on, what was that, Friday night that involved the Knicks for Saturday. And I sent it out late in the fourth quarter, and of course, goes to overtime. Brunson just completely snaps his ankle, and obviously the Knicks play on Saturday did not cash. But anyway, woe is me, right? Once again, ugly injury to Jalen Brunson, officially listed as day-to-day. I don't know how that's possible. That was a gruesome injury. Now, Sacramento on the other side, 4 games over 500 themselves, winning record in the Golden One Center. And more recently, the Kings got the W in 7 out of their last 10. Looking pretty good on the offensive end of the floor. They rarely turn the ball over, and they shoot it well from the foul line. As a matter of fact, they're the second best free throw shooting team in the league. DeMar DeRozan's averaging 22 points a game, 87% from the stripe. And Keegan Murray's getting a dozen points a game himself, 6.9 rebounds a night for him. Sacramento saw overs recently versus the Spurs, Warriors, and Pelicans. I like Sacramento +1 over 223.5. All right, moving into college basketball, very short slate. Oakland, Robert Morris, 7 o'clock Eastern tip. RMU's -2, totals 139.5. Now, Robert Morris is 24-7 on the year, covering in 80% of their contests. If I'm not mistaken, that is best in college basketball. Meanwhile, Oakland on the other side, just 16-17 on the year, 6-11 away from home for them. When it comes to offensive production, the Grizzlies have been little threat shooting the long ball. They're making just 30% of their attempts from beyond the arc. And they're facing a Robert Morris team who's tough to score points against. The Colonials allow only 69 points a game. They're 45th in defensive boards. Of course, as a team, the Colonials are currently on an 8-game winning streak, and they went 9-1 against the point spread in their last 10. Now, the under cashed in 70% of those 10 contests I just mentioned. Meanwhile, Oakland saw unders recently versus PFW and Milwaukee twice. I like Robert Morris -2, under 139.5. All right, next game, Montana State, Idaho State, 7:30 p.m. East. Idaho State's -1, totals 140. Now, Bengal games went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Overs against the likes of Northern Arizona, Sacramento State, and Portland State. They're actually averaging 75 points a game on offense. Dylan Darling, he's scoring just about 20 points a game, 81% from the foul line. And Connor Hollenbeck, he's making 40% of his attempts from outside the arc. Meanwhile, Montana State, they saw overs recently with Sacramento State, Montana, and Idaho State. This very Idaho State team, they've actually done a nice job offensively over the past 3 weeks. Tyler Patterson makes 44% of his deep balls, 90% from the foul line. And Brandon Walker's averaging over 14.5 points a game himself, 52% from the field. I like the over 140. Next contest, Youngstown State taking on Cleveland State, 9:30 p.m. East. Cleveland State's -2, totals 139. Now, Viking games went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. They're 12th in the country in defensive turnovers. Meanwhile, YSU on the other side, they saw unders recently with PFW and this very Cleveland State team. That game actually saw just 128 total points. Now, the Penguins are holding their opponents to just 6 made 3 balls a game. Very tough against the deep ball. I like the under 139. And with that, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Idaho taking on Portland State, 10 o'clock Eastern tip. Portland State's -4, totals 143.5. Now, the Vikings are 19-12 on the year. Idaho just 13-18. And out of the Vandals' last 9 games, they failed to cover the point spread in all of those contests except for one. The Vandals give up over 75.5 points a game, 333rd in defensive field goal percentage. They're facing a Portland State team who averages over 75.5 points a game themselves, 45th in shooting from the field. Jalen Henderson averages 13 points a game. Terry Miller, 50% from the field. The Vikings saw overs against the likes of Montana, Idaho State, and Northern Colorado. Meanwhile, Idaho games went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. I like Portland State, -4, over 143.5. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into some NHL action. The app hasn't even updated it. That's how little interest folks have in the NHL, which is a damn shame because if you're not betting NHL, you're crazy. It's a cash cow. It's a money-making machine. NHL plays have always been my best plays since I started Patreon. I mean, very little shenanigans. Shit happens the way it should happen. You know how like the NFL and the NBA and even, college basketball, it's just like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, shit happens the way it should happen in the NHL for the most part. All right, first game, Oilers, Sabres, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop. Like I said, not even updated on the big screen because nobody ever watched my NHL videos, so we just kind of sandwich them into the big video. But once again, Oilers, Sabres, 7 o'clock East. Edmonton's $1.80, total 6.5. Stu Skinner expected in the net for Edmonton. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for Buffalo. And listen, the Sabres can certainly, they need UPL in this one because they're in the bottom 3 in goals allowed, losers of their last 6 straight. And listen, they're taking on an Edmonton squad who got the W in 3 out of their last 4 themselves. The Oilers are second in the league in shots on goal. They're going to pepper your goalie. They're going to have a bunch of scoring chances. Like I said, Buffalo can really use UPL here tonight because he's going to be tested. He's going to be challenged. Once again, Edmonton, second in the league in shots on goal. Leon Draisaitl, he's got 95 total points on the year, 46 goals. Draisaitl's also a +26. And Connor McDavid, he's got 24 goals himself, 57 assists. Edmonton games went 4-2 to the over in their last 6 on the road, 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Buffalo games went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. We're laying a lot of juice here, but I don't want to lay the goal and a half. I want a money line play here. It's expensive, it's pricey, it's chalky. I don't care. It's a free play. Give me Edmonton -180, over 6.5. All right, next contest, Red Wings, Senators, 7:30 p.m. East. Ottawa's -$1.60, total 6 goals. Linus Ullmark for the Sens, Cam Talbot for Detroit. The Red Wings saw overs in 3 out of their last 4 on the road, 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Ottawa games went 9-1 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I like the over 6 goals. Next contest, Blackhawks, Avalanche, 9 p.m. East. Colorado's the massive $4.70 favorite, total 6.5. Mackenzie Blackwood for the Avs, Spencer Knight for Chicago. Now, the Blackhawks are allowing more pucks on net a game than any other team besides one. Bottom 5 in goals allowed. Spencer Knight going to have a long day at the office here on Monday. Of course, as a team, Chicago took the loss in 7 out of their last 10. Meanwhile, Colorado on the other side, they're currently on a 5-game winning streak. Nearly 6 goals a game they averaged during that span. Just explosive on offense. Nathan MacKinnon has a league best 100 points on the season. League high 73 assists. He leads the NHL in both of those stats. And listen, no real surprise, McKinnon's a plus 24 when he's on a shift. When he's out there, good things happen. And Cale Makar, he's got 75 points on the year himself. He's a plus 21. Folks, he's a defenseman. Cale Makar getting the job done everywhere. Now, Colorado games went 4-1 to the over in their last 5 at home, 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Blackhawks games went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I like Colorado minus 1.5, over 6.5 goals. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Maple Leafs Hockey Club, 10 o'clock East. Toronto's $1.20 on the road, total 6. Anthony Stolarz for Toronto. Karel Vejmelka for Utah. Now, the Hockey Club's got a losing record in their own barn, getting just 28 pucks on net a game this year. Meanwhile, Toronto, on the other side, well, they've scored a considerable amount of goals over the past few weeks. Mitch Marner with 58 assists on the year, team leader in points. And William Nylander, he has a team-high 35 goals on the year. Now, Toronto did see a handful of unders in their last 10 games, oddly enough. Meanwhile, Utah saw unders in 3 out of their last 4 at home. I like the Maple Leafs minus $1.20, under 6. And with that, folks, we are going to jump into our quick pick recap. Just want to verify real quick what we're going to promote here in the quick pick recap. And I got it. So anyway, here is the quick pick recap. I like the Lakers minus 5.5, under 216. Raptors minus 6.5, over 231. I'm 3-0. My last 3 chairman plays on my premium page. 7-1 of my last 8 in that same package. Celtics minus 17, over 227. Hawks minus 8.5, over 230. Hornets plus 10, under 216. Pacers minus 4, over 242.5. Grizzlies minus 5, over 244. I like the under 240 in that Nuggets-Oklahoma City matchup. Houston Rockets minus 4, under 214. Give me the under 225.5 in that Dallas-San Antonio matchup. I like Golden State minus 12, getting the job done against Portland. Sacramento plus 1, over 223.5. College basketball, Robert Morris minus 2, under 139.5. Give me the over 140 in that Montana State-Idaho State game. I like the under 139 in that Youngstown State-Cleveland State matchup. Portland State minus 4, over 143.5. NHL, Edmonton minus $1.80, over 6.5. I like the over 6 in that Red Wings Senators matchup. Avalanche minus 1.5, over 6.5 goals. Give me the Maple Leafs minus $1.20, under 6. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. If you do end up getting a membership here today on my premium site, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. They're going to be included with your membership. That's why I always tell folks, that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.